What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're doing a franchise sim using the new proposed divisions for the 2021 NHL season. As you can see here, the Pacific Division is looking a little bit different. It's all American teams now, as there's actually an all Canadian division, which is going to take over for the Central, as there's only 7 teams. So they replace the former 7 Central teams. You got Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, Winnipeg. Obviously, I'm Canadian, so I'm very excited for the all-Canadian division. I think that's going to be really, really cool. In the Pacific Division, it's pretty much the same, but they've actually added Colorado, Dallas, and St. Louis in place of the 3 former Canadian teams. So I think St. Louis is probably the furthest east of those Pacific teams. In the past, Colorado was literally in a Pacific Division with like Dallas, Vancouver, and a couple others. Dallas is pretty close being in Texas. A lot of people thought maybe Minnesota would be in place of the St. Louis team, and currently Minnesota is actually in the East. Now, I waited about a week to make this video as they were saying there might be some changes, but nothing's come up yet, so I think this is what they're going to be going with. So now over in the East, the Atlantic Division, which is really like the new Central, you have Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Detroit, Florida, Minnesota, Nashville, and Tampa Bay. So looking at that division, I feel like Tampa Bay are really going to run away with it. They're just so much better than everyone else there. Now, the Metropolitan Division is almost the exact same. The only 2 new teams here are Boston and Buffalo, taking over for Carolina, Columbus. So that's definitely still considered the Metro in my mind. And I feel like I gotta make some quick predictions before we get started with the sim. So I'm thinking maybe the Penguins take the Metro Division, the Tampa Bay Lightning take the new Central Division, taking over for the Atlantic. I think the Leafs probably are the best team in the Canadian Division. And then for sure, I think Colorado is the best team in the Pacific Division. Now, we'll see whether or not that happens in the sim. Again, very curious to kind of see how this all shakes out. For this, of course, it's going to have the normal settings. Salary cap, computer trades turned on, everything else turned off. Also, guys, in case you didn't notice, for this sim will be the Detroit Red Wings. Now, I'm not going to accept any trades, I don't think. I'm going to let the computers make trades, but I really don't want to like influence the sim at all. So hopefully we get a decent prediction here to what actually might happen in the real NHL season. One thing to note though, it is going to be a shortened season. Now for this, we could do something where like we cut it off at like the 62 game mark or something. But really, if we want to be realistic, we'd be kind of starting 20 games late, with the last 62 being the ones that count. So we'll just, sim all 82. Maybe it'll just give us a bit more of an authentic result as well, because you can't have as many fluke teams somehow make it in. So I just simmed to end of summer here, guys. We'll take a quick look and see what's going on in the league. You can see the Red Wings are actually positive, 19, 15, and 3, which is nice to see. So in that Central Division, we're currently out of a wild card spot. Hurricanes, Panthers, Blackhawks are the 3 leaders. Lightning there have a wild card spot, very interesting. Sabres leading that Metro Division, followed behind by the Penguins and the Bruins. Flyers in last place is also interesting. Canucks last in the Canadian Division. Maple Leafs are first, followed by Jets, Oilers, Canadians. The Golden Knights there, top of the Pacific, with the Sharks, Avalanche, and Ducks. Blues are last place in that division. So about halfway through the season, still a lot of time left here, but some interesting results so far for sure. Also at the halfway point, just like in real life last season, McDavid, Draisaitl, 1 and 2 there in scoring in the NHL, 58 and 52 points respectively. Barkov also has 52. McKinnon, Eichel, Couture, Scheifele, Malkin, Matthews, all having big years. And we're not the trade deadline here, guys. Red Wings still have a positive record somehow. So take a look and see what's going on in the rest of the league. Larkin's just about a point per game. Hurricanes are leading that Central Division. Panthers, Blackhawks. Lightning only in a wildcard spot is very surprising. Penguins are actually leading the Metro now. Bruins, Rangers behind them. Islanders are now in the last place. The Canadian Division, Maple Leafs, yeah, they're running away with that one, 90 points. You got the Jets, Oilers, Canadians. Canucks and Flames at the bottom is very interesting. Senators are actually doing not too bad. And then Pacific, Golden Knights still at the top. Avalanche outside of a playoff spot's also pretty shocking. The Coyotes with the same amount of points. So we'll just sim through the trade deadline. We'll see if any like big blockbuster trades go down. It doesn't really matter for us. I'll just do conservative stellar. We're just gonna sim right by it. Would love, hopefully some big trade goes down. Always fun to see. As sometimes a trade that goes down in the sim, a similar trade ends up happening in real life. But we'll see here. And does not look like a single blockbuster trade went down at the deadline. That's kind of disappointing. And we're not done the season here, guys. Red Wings actually finished with a 42, 33, and 7 record. So there's a chance they actually might be in the playoffs. I don't want to spoil it there. We'll take a look here. And when we do squeak in with the last wildcard spot in the East, pretty cool. Larkin finished exactly a point per game. Hurricanes won the new Central Division with 103 points. Panthers, Blackhawks, and Blue Jackets also get in. The Lightning missed the playoffs, 1 point less than the Red Wings. I do not see that happening in real life. Over in the Metro, Capitals, Penguins, Bruins get in. Honestly, I'd say that's pretty realistic. I feel like the Metro is going to be a bit of a bloodbath. Only bad team there, I think, would be like the Devils. Sabres got a lot better. Devils haven't done much. Now in the Canadian Division, Maple Leafs held on there with 113 points. Jets, Oilers, Canadiens all also make it in. Flames finishing last with 68. And then in the Pacific, you got the Golden Knights winning the division. Ducks, Stars, and Sharks make it. Coyotes, Avalanche. So yeah, Avalanche and Tampa Bay, who I think are like two of the top teams in terms of like chances to win the Stanley Cup next season, both missing the playoffs is pretty crazy. You never know though, like in a shortened season, there's basically more likelihood of flukes like that to happen, as the more games you played, the more likely it is that the best team will come out on top. But the less amount of games, it is basically more luck based. So Toronto actually not only wins the Canadian division, but the President's Trophy. Very, very interesting. Only 5 teams there with 100+ points. So going through, Chicago being the 11th best team in the league is a bit surprising. Columbus at 12 as well. Also, I think is a little surprising. Detroit making it in. You can definitely argue. San Jose, I think, could bounce back, and if they do, I wouldn't be surprised if they're a wildcard team, but really not much better than that. Tampa Bay actually was a top 16 team in the league, so they kind of got screwed, but still, they should have been better than that. They should have been like a guaranteed playoff team. Colorado 23. I do not know what happened. Maybe just Grubauer played bad net. St. Louis 27. That's also a bit of a shocker. The rest of it, I mean, Vancouver and Calgary both finishing bottom 3 teams in the league. Calgary, the worst team in the league this year. I do not see that happening. I feel like it'll for sure be either LA or New Jersey. I think one of those 2 teams. I just don't really see a lot going on there. But yeah, maybe Vancouver, Calgary playing in that Canadian division where really there is no bad team. I think Ottawa would have been the bad team, but they got better. They added Dadonov, they added Murray. They have good young players coming up. So, you know, I think the Canadian division actually might be the most competitive. Definitely that one or the Metro. Now, I thought Tampa Bay and Colorado were going to dominate the other 2 divisions. Didn't quite happen. We'll take a look at the entire league here. McDavid did finish first in scoring, 126 points. Draisaitl second, 120. They're literally the definition of dynamic duo. You got Eichel third there. He had a huge year. Kuznetsov, Ovechkin, Malkin, pretty big year at 34 years old. Barkov, Crosby, Matthews. I'll take a look here at defensemen. And Pietrangelo on the Vegas Golden Knights, 77 points. Ekman Larson, big year. If Arizona wants any shot at sniffing the playoffs, they'll have to have a big year. We'll take a look here next at rookie skaters. Lafreniere, 62 points in his rookie season. I think, you know, that's pretty realistic. Kaprizov there, second with 54, and then it's a big drop off to Krasov. Honestly, I think for me, it'll be Lafreniere or Kaprizov winning that Calder Trophy. It's really going to depend, I think, on who they end up playing with. Like, Lafreniere is playing with Panarin, it's going to be him. But if not, and Kaprizov's on the first line, Minnesota, I think Kaprizov can maybe take it from him. So, we'll get started with the playoffs now. Detroit's somehow in here in the mix. Again, I think the biggest shocker so far is Tampa Bay and Colorado both missing, more so even than like Calgary getting last. So we had the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round. Carolina's a much better team than Detroit. You never know though, anything can happen in the playoffs. Maybe a bit of a Cinderella run gets going here. And as I say that, we do get a first win, and that win was at home. Lost the first 2 games in Carolina. We win again at home, so we actually tie the series up here 2 apiece. Can we keep this going? Can we play spoiler? Wow. We actually win 4 straight there after dropping the first 2 games to Carolina. Imagine Detroit beating Carolina round 1 of the playoffs. Now the Florida Panthers in round 2. This is also very interesting to see. I would not have expected Florida to be in the playoffs, probably. I feel like last year they were a bubble team and they haven't really gotten better. If anything, they've gotten worse. And Florida here, we've beaten 6. So Detroit's making a bit of a run. We had some nice pickups this offseason with the Mestikov, Grice, Merrill, Stetcher, Bobby Ryan, but I don't see Detroit making it this far. So the Boston Bruins next here. Boston should have our number. So we lose the first 2 games in Boston. We don't get swept though. We actually win game number 4 there. That was in Detroit. Game 5 we win. And we lose in 6 there to Boston. The Stanley Cup Finals, the Winnipeg Jets versus the Boston Bruins. Honestly, I don't see this being that unlikely of a Stanley Cup Final. I really like Winnipeg. I'm always pretty high on them as a team. Just because I think Hellebuck's an awesome goalie. Their offensive firepower is insane. Obviously, Laine's still in the team. 7 games. Who's going to win it here? Boston or Winnipeg? And the Boston Bruins are Stanley Cup champions. So that's pretty cool. Of course, 2 years removed from the Stanley Cup Final where they lost to the St. Louis Blues. I'll take a look at the playoff tree and the awards and all of that after we just sim here to the draft lottery. Calgary has the best chance here to pick first overall, and they do win first overall. I feel like what's funny is 2021 is like the one year where if you're last, you really don't care if you get first overall. Is from everything I've read, the scouts really don't have a consensus number 1. Like it was Otto Rowdy, but he's kind of dropped down. Owen Power's pretty good. Dylan Gunther's up there in the rankings, some other guys, but there's really no consensus 1. So watch this be the year where last place does pick first. Islanders 2. Ottawa jumps up from 10 to 3. Very impressive for them. So we'll actually take a look, like I said, at the playoff tree awards, all that good stuff next here. Domestic Cup, 14 points in 18 playoff games. I guess we could take a look and see just, who was the playoff scoring leader in the entire league. Obviously going to be a Boston Bruin or a Winnipeg Jet, but we'll see exactly just who that was. And Scheifele, 30 points in 24 games. He definitely did all he could. Pastrnak, Bergeron, Marchand, that line for Boston was so good. Craig Smith, almost a point per game in the playoffs. Very, very impressive. Laine had 15 goals. Looks to be the most goals in the playoffs. So yeah, that's the thing. With trading Laine, you're trading one of the best goal scorers in the NHL. You better get a good return if you're Winnipeg. And looking at the playoff tree next year, the Jets beat the Oilers in 5, the Leafs in 5, the Golden Knights in 7, before of course dropping to Boston in 7. Boston beat the Penguins in 7, swept the Blue Jackets in the second round, and then of course beat us in 6 before going on to win the Stanley Cup. Next, we'll take a look at these awards. We already know Boston got the Stanley Cup, Toronto Presidents, Clancis Campbell goes to Winnipeg, Prince of Wales to Boston, McDavid gets the Art Ross, he also gets the Hart Trophy, Letang gets the James Norris, very interesting. Kuznetsov have Lady Byng, okay. Lafreniere wins the Calder, Pastrnak, Conn Smythe. I think, yeah, if Winnipeg wins it, Scheifele gets it. Carey Price, Vezina, so a bit of a resurgence year for him. Anderson, though, gets William Jennings. So, yeah, Toronto was very good this season, the regular season. Chara here returns to Boston and wins the Bill Masterton at, 45 years old. Chicago coach gets to Jack Adams. If Detroit makes the playoffs, I think Blashill should get it. Kopitar gets a Selke, so a bit of return for him. McDavid, Ted Lindsay, and then Malkin, Maurice Richard. I actually forgot to check who led the entire NHL in goals. Now, Calder Cup went to Springfield. That's Florida's team. We're just going to take a quick look here at the AHL awards. Alex Turcotte, most points in the AHL. I think he probably makes NHL this year, honestly. He also got MVP, most goals, outstanding rookie. Turcotte cleaned up. Hanley there, best D-man. Ingram, best goalie. Husso, MVP of the playoffs. Actually, my bad. Springfield used to be Florida's AHL team. Now it's St. Louis. They're always switching around who owns which AHL team. It gets confusing. Turcotte also got sportsmanship. Wachowski there, community involvement. Copley, lowest goals against. Now, he'll actually probably be in the NHL now. Backing up Samsonov, as literally, as I record this, Lundqvist said he's not playing the NHL this year, which is definitely tough to hear. So, there you have it, guys. The 2021 NHL shortened season with the new divisions. What did you think about the sim? I think I already kind of pointed out the biggest shockers for me. Like Tampa Bay and Colorado, I thought were going to be top of their divisions. Trying to even make the playoffs is crazy. Calgary last. But then the playoffs, Boston, Winnipeg, I actually don't think is that crazy at all. So, kind of weird. How that always works out. But definitely leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. It helps me out immensely. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.